Hi everybody, my name is Dr. Agility Obi Ihesie. I'm a Nigerian doctor. I'm a consultant pathologist based in Nigeria, and I'm the founder of Dr. Pure Joy Skincare. Now, Dr. Pure Joy Skincare is a brand which manufactures high quality, world-class, nutrient-packed, high-performance skincare products that caters for both adults and children. Our products take care of skin conditions like dry, very dry, dull, dehydrated, damaged skin, inflammatory skin conditions, aging skin, whatever is threatening the health of your skin. We have products that are here to take care of your skin. And we are based in Nigeria, as we said, but we ship worldwide, and we have quite a number of clients in the diaspora with excellent reviews as well. So the next thing you're going to be seeing are pictures of our products and testimonial. Trust me, we are 100% Nigerian. I know we look so good, but we're 100% Nigerian. So we look forward to having you join our family of very satisfied clients. We want to take care of you. We want to help you have joy. When you look at your skin, you should feel joy, like your skin should be popping, you should be happy. So that's what we're here for, to do for you. So get ready to see the pictures and the testimonial. You can find us on social media. We're on Instagram, and we also have a website. So our Instagram handle is at Dr. Pure Joy Skincare, at Dr. Pure Joy Skincare. And our website is www.skinbydrpurejoy.com. You can also reach us via WhatsApp or leave us a text message on 070-170-46467. So we look forward to hearing from you, and we look forward to helping you get the best skin of your life. Thank you so much. There's the extra panel showing our contact details now. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chineye Obasi, and I'm a member in the inner circle of the Intentional Parent Academy. Good. Okay, I met Coach Wendy some years back. Fortunately, we work in the same plaza, and when she launched her book, Connect to Correct, I was part of those that bought it. And from there, followed her online, Instagram, Facebook, saw the amazing work she was doing, and I'm like, you can't miss out on this academy thing. So finally made up my mind, joined the academy, because I was like, yes, this was one of what I've been really yearning for. I know I used to have always been big on parenting. I've had a lot of things, I've read books and all of that, but I needed something more. I needed an accountability system. I needed people of like minds, and all that. So that's what the academy has afforded me, and lots more. Joined the academy, it's been a wholesome journey. It's been from one level of glory to another. It's been a growth journey, from mastering emotional intelligence courses, how to speak to your kids about those, like call it, sacred parts that some people think they are, but they're really not. Having sex conversations with your kids, teaching skills, having a structured home, and a whole lot more. It's been It's been a journey I would wish every parent can be part of. Yes, every parent should be part of. It's if you dedicate your time and your resources to it, you see that it's one huge investment that every parent should be part of. So the academy has been amazing, very, 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 very. I also want, I've forgotten my line of thoughts. Let me just pick it up. I wish everybody should be part of the academy. Also, the last conference, which was tagged the Parenting Advantage, was all shades of amazing, and a whole lot of things to take away. The speakers were seasoned speakers. They knew what they were talking about. They covered practically everything you can think about, from sex education to raising boys, raising 10 over 10 girls, the drug conversations, talks about even children with special needs. You could name it. A whole lot of topics were covered, and it was a huge learning platform for me, especially. And for this one currently on, which is the battlefield of parenting. I love the name because parenting is really war, and how we fight determines how we win the battle of parenting. So I'm expecting a whole lot from it because the speakers are just amazing. I can't stop calling all their names. When I saw the first banner that dropped, I was like, "Woo, beautiful!" They just came back to back, and I'm so expectant. I'm so expectant because I know the Intentional Parent Academy don't give us anything less than excellence. And if you follow through the sessions, if you follow through the speakers, have an open mind. Think deep thoughts. Ask yourself questions. Where do I need to get better? What do I need to start doing? What do I need to stop doing? How do I rebrand myself to be the parent that has an advantage, or the parent that knows that parenting is war, and how I fight determines how I win. The strategies, what strategies am I going to be learning during this conference? What are the things I'm going to be putting in place? Because a lot of things will be dished out. So let's position ourselves. Let's take the days off if we need to. Let's just be prepared for it, because we're going to get a lot of tools we need to work on to know that we can succeed in this called parenting. My name is Chinelo Basi. This is the Battlefield of Parenting, TIP Conference 2023. Thank you.
Good
right.
morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning, Rebecca.
Good
Welcome.
morning, Coach
Good to see
D.
you here. Good to see you. All right. So
Yes.
you are the moderator for this session. Good. We have your sound and visuals, so I'll just let you do your thing.
All
Our
right.
guest is already in the backstage, and so once you're done, I'll get him off stage.
All right. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome you all to day 6 of TIP Conference 2023. And my name is Rebecca Elu, and I will be your host. This morning, I would like to say thank you to our amiable Coach Wendy for the opportunity given to me to be the moderator for today's session. Thank you so much, Ma. I do not take it for granted. The last session was mind-blowing. Can I see in the comment section how you feel of the session that just finished now? Or you put the fire emoji.
People, so there we have it. I want to be sure that our guest is ready for this session, and then we're going to take his bio. Our time is running again. We're going to take the bio. Thank you very much for all the fire emojis. I see you in the comment section. So next up, media, please, let's play the bio for our guest for this session. and he will be right up here in less than 2 minutes.
This is the TIP Annual Conference.
Folorunsho Aliyu is the Group Managing Director at Telnet Nigeria Limited. He was at various times Head of Network Support Department, National Coordinator of Network Support Units, Managing Director of Itaco Nigeria Limited, a subsidiary of the group, and the Group Project Director for Telnet Limited. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Engineering from the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and a Masters of Business Administration MBA from the Lagos Business School, LBS. Aliyu mentors young and vibrant entrepreneurs at a Ventures Platform Hub, a vibrant community of tech startups and future-focused incubation hub at the heart of Abuja, Nigeria's capital. His focus is on creating the right story around the entrepreneur's ideas and businesses. He's the co-founder of the Vacancy Paradigm Initiative, a catalytic campaign to galvanize a large number of human beings in Nigeria into taking specific actions that will transform them into human resources. He is a Certified Management Consultant CMC and Fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants FIMC. He is a published author and is married with 3 children. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the TIP Annual Conference 2023 for Folorunsho Aliyu.
Awesome. Good morning, sir. Good to have you here this morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me clearly?
Loud and clear, we can hear you. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. And is my lighting okay?
Yes, we can see you, we can hear you. I think we're good. Let me just be sure from every other person in the comment section. Yes, we're good. And so I'm just going to get out of your way for the next 40 minutes. Your session is now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. I think it's a privilege. Each time you get to speak with people, it's a privilege not to be taken for granted. So thank you for this opportunity to speak with you. I've been given a topic, raising innovative children. And I think this is very, very important. It's a very important topic for today, because it means that we're thinking of the real issues. The world is not just changing, it has changed tremendously and is still changing. It has not only changed, but it is still changing. So some people have been left behind because they did not even go with the wave of the change that has happened. But even those who have changed with the change that has happened need to be careful of jumping on saying what is happening next. And that is why it's important that we talk about this, not just for our children, but also for us, because a lot of parents are becoming obsolete in their understanding of the world they are living in. Mass retrenchment has either happened to some people or it's happening. That's because the world has changed tremendously. So this topic is not only for us in terms of how to teach a child, but also how to live our lives so that our children would imbibe. I have a popular saying for anyone who has listened to me at any point in time, that parenting is not necessarily about the children. It's first and foremost about you first. The act of parenting is actually about you first, because the natural child soaks like a sponge from the parent first. And if the parent is deficient or is not strong in a particular area, the child, like a sponge, soaks from somewhere else, either from friends, family members, school, teachers, neighbors, or the environment at large. But it is first and foremost based on proximity. If you notice, most children learn more by what they see rather than by what you tell them. You can speak till you are blue in the face. Very rarely would you have children just following what you say if you are not modeling the life you want them to see. So, like I said, this is about the children, but truth is that this is first about you. I say this often because that is the only method I have seen that has worked and that works. So rather than trying to invent high sounding theories or trying to sound very esoteric in the statements that I make, I would like to deal with the real issues, which is parenting is about parents first and foremost. Can anybody hear me, please? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Your video is turned off now, but we can hear you.
I don't know what happened. Okay. Is it okay now?
Yes, you're back.
I don't know what
Yeah.
happened there. I'm so sorry, please. You know, parenting is first about you. That's why it is parenting. It is first about the parents. So my point is, rather than focusing so much on that child, the truth is if you focus a lot more on, if you are deliberate about who you are, I guarantee you your children will most likely turn out right. A good analogy is this. Have you noticed that when you were in primary, secondary school, or maybe even the university, the people that tend to have first class or those who do very well in school are usually those who focus more on learning what they are being taught rather than the course itself or rather than the grades itself. People who talk a lot about grades are those who are failing in the grades. More often than not, those who spend their time trying to understand the concept, they are not afraid of the exams. It's those who have not thought about the concept, those who have not listened well enough, those who have not learned the basics or the rudimentaries are the ones always talking about the grades. About if I read well, I will hope to get this grade or that grade. But usually the guy who has learned the rudiments of the subject or the topic, the guy who has taken his time to study hard, the guy who has taken his time to understand the topic is never really afraid of the exams. In fact, more often than not, it's before the exam. It's like such people are already telling you whether they are going to get A or B. It's the person that has not learned it that's always worried about the outcome. It's the same thing about parenting. If you are modeling the life actively, more often than not, your children are following your footsteps. So first and foremost, if we want to raise innovative children, we must first raise healthy children. We must raise present children. I will explain those words as I move along. I'm choosing those words deliberately. Healthy, present children. Healthy in terms of their mind, healthy in terms of their outlook to life, healthy in terms of what they feed on, healthy in all ramification. In a nutshell, well-being. We must raise children that way. But like I said, it is first about what you as a person do. Model that lifestyle for your children. If you are eating burger from morning till night and asking your children to eat healthily, it will be difficult. They will do it maybe out of compulsion, but any opportunity they have to do any other thing, they will do it, especially when they think you will not find out about it. And they would most likely not feel bad about it. Why? They see their model do the wrong things, but say, in quote, the right things. Children are like sponges, especially in the first 13 years of their lives. From 13 to 19, they now start to squeeze out gradually what they have soaked. It's important that we model this life first. Parenting is first about you. So that's my first statement, to say if we want to raise innovative children, question, how innovative are you as a parent? How innovative are your ways of thinking or doing things? Of course, with every rule in life, there would always be exceptions. There are those whose children will just go the other way. Maybe the parents are not modeling the life, but the children see the lives of their parents. Have you seen children who have grown up and said to you that my father was poor and I swore I would never be poor? You see, in a way, such people, God bless them, have seen what not to be. It is still the parents modeling, but in a negative way. So the children go the other way. It's not healthy because the children are now pulling themselves away from what should have been a healthy way of living. So modeling is extremely important. Whichever way you look at it, your children take after your modeling, whether for good or for bad. The painful thing is that bad modeling is easier to follow than good modeling. And that's why the world seems to be filled with a lot of what do you call it now, dysfunction. Because it is easy to follow bad example, very easy to follow. In fact, sometimes you don't even need to try to follow bad example. Good things take deliberacy. Good things take you to be deliberate, to be focused, and to be present. I will explain those words, like I said, later because I have them written down. So that's the second thing I would say, modeling these things about you first. The second thing is modeling it. Now, what does it take for you to model this thing? I would speak to one thing I see that is really a problem. In fact, I did a small write-up to a group I belong to. And I said in that write-up, I said, we are all addicts. And what do I mean? Without realizing it, back in the day, if we trace the story I'm about to tell, if we trace it back in the day, especially in the 60s, especially in the US, I'm thinking like when you had the hippie movement coming up and all that, homes were built in certain ways where people modeled stuff and all that. People modeled hard work. If you talk about those who do tech startups, if you read most of their books, I mean, if you read most of their history, you find that most of them started in the garage. What were they doing in the garage? It's because their parents had garages where they were building stuff. Middle income America in the 50s, in the 40s, 50s, 60s, especially in the 50s and 60s, had garages where parents were building stuff. They were hands-on. So kids join their parents after they go and play on the road and play with their friends. They come back and help their parents in the garages. Their parents were either, maybe those whose parents were electrical engineers, saw how their parents were soldering this and soldering that. Some of them got interested, started to read more about it, and then they started to try their hands on things. Their parents never told them, you must follow me. They just saw models and they built on what they saw. And that's how those garages happen. Now, garages are disappearing or have disappeared totally. You know, so most of the people you call innovators today, the likes of what's the name, Bill Gates, the likes of what do you call them, Apple founder, the likes of Paul Allen, all of them, check their history. They had one form of garage or the other. And what were those garages for? Sorry, NEPA struck. What were those garages for? Those garages were places where their parents were doing things and they learned from their parents. As a result of that, they innovated. So the question is, where is your own garage that your kids can watch you grow? Where is your own garage that your kids can, where's your own garage that your kids can learn to soak what you are teaching? Now, I use the garage in this case as just a placeholder. A garage can be your study in this case, where you are reading. When you are a reading parent, the likelihood is that your children will be reading children as well. I've heard Chimamanda speak before about how our parents were always reading, and she picked up reading. The thing is, you model those even without saying too many things. You model, and children naturally will pick it up. So, where is your garage? If you have, I've seen artisans take their children to work. Those children pick those things up and they move on. Some people look down on those artisans, but the reality is that they are modeling some things. That hard work is important. In today's Nigeria, as a society, we are modeling to the children that hard work doesn't pay. And we complain when these children want to go into Yahoo. Even those who are innovative by nature, because the society, right from the home, is modeling to them that, you know what, when you work hard, it does not pay you, you will be poor. They see their parents who, in quotes, have modeled civil service life to them and have ended up poor or treated shabbily. Most of them will come and say, you know what, never, this will never happen to me. And so they go into what the society says, oh, I need to be a politician. Everybody now believes, well, not everybody, I'm being euphemistic now. A lot of the children now look up to being a politician as the way out. Another bit of it that has happened over time, and I know a lot of people do not probably even notice this. There is this evil in the land in Nigeria right now, where if you have not gone to university to have a university certificate, you are a useless person by virtue of what the society is modeling. So you have children that normally would have been great without going to the university and would have done a lot better with their lives, have been forced to cheat in schools. You now have schools that are cheating on behalf of the students or buying papers, exam papers and all that. Even parents buying exam papers for the children so that they can go to university, so that they can come up with some certificate that says they are worthy. And when they come to work, to the workplace, you realize that they are truly not worthy. So the environment is also, like I said to you, if as a parent you do not model, it's like from inside out. You are the closest to them, so they will soak what you are saying. If you're not modeling any area of your life, you're not modeling, a child will seek somewhere else to find the model and soak it up. If you're not modeling, for example, finance for your children, if your children see that my parents are not, if they see that the way you handle money, you're not modeling it properly. If they see someone who is handling money the way they feel should be handled, they would go after that person to soak it up. They don't even need to sit with the person and talk for a while. They would watch, imbibe, and leave it. So children will learn from you first. If you're not modeling it, or it is absent, they will go to the closest after you. It could be your neighbors, it could be your friends, it could be school, it could be their own friends, or it could be the society at large. But children are made to soak things up. And that is why, as a parent, you must have enough juice for your children to soak from, else they would find somewhere else to pick it from. Parenting is about you. Whether good or bad, whatever your vices are, your children will pick it up, soak it in, and multiply it. If you have good areas, they would pick it up if you are deliberate about it. Like I said, bad is easy to soak. Good takes deliberacy. So the fact that you are good in a particular area doesn't mean that your children will even just take it. They may try, but the truth is that good takes a while to even imbibe. Bad is the easiest thing to imbibe. So you must be deliberate. You must be present. I'll still come back to that word present. So, like I said, innovation is a deliberate act. Just like excellence is a deliberate act. Just like greatness is deliberate. So how do we grow children, or how do we raise children that are innovative? Number one, I come back to you again. One, you as a parent. How do you manage your time? Because I'm going to start talking about the elements of innovation right now. Time. How do you spend your time? The second evil I've seen all over the world now, and more importantly in Nigeria, is what I call the cesspool of dopamine. I'll say that again. It's what I call the cesspool of dopamine. What do I mean? We all know the feel-good hormones in our bodies. They are called the happiness hormone. But it leads to, there are two of them that are good because they reward you. There are those that they reward your way of doing things over and over again. So let me digress and go back to the 60s in the US, and then I'll tie it to this cesspool of dopamine. In the 60s, when you started having the psychedelic movement in the US, where people were preaching one love and they were taking LSDs, smoking cocaine, and all that, it became like a general thing. Before then, those things were like taboos. But there was a movement all of a sudden, and people started taking those substances, and substance abuse came in. And before you knew it, they started talking about liberation, the liberal movement, and all those things. It became a way of life. That was when addiction started, almost on a large scale. Then the 70s, you had the drug war. That's when you had the what we now call the NDLEA here, but theirs is the DEA. They would go to South America or go to Asia, where people were actually actively pumping drugs into the US. Billions were spent in trying to curb that, but drugs kept filtering into the US. Children's lives were destroyed. Why? Once something takes over your mind in such a way that you do not have control over it, even when you think you do. Talk to most addicts. When they are sober, they actually feel bad. They wish they didn't have to live such lives. But the reality is that when the need comes up because of the ways they've lived their life, they go back. Some of them sell their things, sell their wives' things, use their children's school fees. Despicable things. The same thing I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, is happening to all of us. That's why I wrote that thing about we are all addicts now. And what do I mean by we are all addicts? We're all becoming addicts to this. A lot of people do not want to agree, but the reality is that almost everybody is becoming an addict to this. Some will quickly come up with and give you an excuse, but I use it for my work and all that. The question is, if you really want to know whether you're an addict or not, do some tests. If you have a laptop and you have a phone, do your work on your laptop and take only phone calls. Do not look at your phone without a call coming in. If you can do it for 3 days, you're probably not an addict. But we are all in this scrolling business. If some of us will take a step back and see how many hours we spend on this phone that is not for productive work. Like I said, it's easy to hide under I'm using it for work. But if you want to be sincere to yourself, do that experiment for 3 days. How long can you stay away from this phone that is not productive? Or how long can you stay away from this phone if it is not for a regular call? You'll be surprised. And document how many hours in a day that you actually spend on scrolling and all that. It steals our time. And that is because for you to be innovative, time is the most essential ingredient you need, because that time is what you would dedicate to what needs to lead to innovation. We all hear stories about people who are doing great now and all that, but if you ask them, they spend time when you are sleeping. When I am sleeping, those people are spending time on their craft. Even skit making, that we all make it look like it's simple. If you actually go on a skit making set, you'll be surprised how long it takes for them to build their craft. Some of them have to write scripts. Some who do not write script have to do multiple takes. What you see in 2 minutes, some of them have several takes on it. The only thing is that maybe they enjoy what they are doing, but the reality is that it is still work. They dedicate time to it. But what we do is we dedicate time just consuming. My point is, enough of the cesspool of dopamine by adults. Why? When you do it, you give your children the liberty, or you give them the authority to continue to wallow in that cesspool. And what I mean by dopamine is the hormone that makes you feel good when you are doing all this scrolling. By the way, if you've not watched this documentary before, I would suggest you do on Netflix. It's called social media. Something dilemma. I'm trying to remember the title now. I wrote it, but I can't find it now. I think it's Social Media Dilemma or something. I'll get the title before I leave. Try and watch that documentary. I talk about it all the time, because there are people deliberately seeking your attention to take your time away from you. It's not by mistake. They are deliberate in taking your time away from you. And someone once said that if you are not paying for a product, check, you are most likely the product being sold. When you're on social media, scrolling on TikTok, when you're on social media, on Facebook, on Pinterest, or whatever, doing all those things, and you think you're not paying, you are actually the product being sold. And some of us we've taught our children to also be products to be sold. What do I mean by your product being sold? Those social media organizations, they sell the number of people that are active on their platforms to people who want to buy or people who want to advertise. So really, you and I are actually the products being sold. Your time is what they are selling. How often do you come on this? Oh, they have an average. This person spends an average of 2 hours every day. How can we make this person spend more time on social media space so that we can make more money? You and I have become the product. I think it's high time that even if you want to be a product for the sake of your children, can you pull back so that your children do not become the product of the future? To raise children that are innovative, you need to teach them the use of time, the importance. In fact, not just the use of time, the investment of time, because time is the most important element in life and also in innovation. For innovation. So if you are not deliberate about the use of your time, it is the worst thing you can do to anybody and yourself. For you to be an innovator, there's time that needs to be spent on the craft, either of learning or of doing. If social media takes over that time, or somebody else takes over that time, maybe it's gossip that takes over your time, or doing stuff that are not productive. If those are the things taking over your time, you realize that your children will soak those things and they will not have respect for time. And if you don't have respect for time, it's unlikely that you'll be a very innovative person. Unlikely. Because time is the ingredient of innovation. For you to make a phone, only God knows how many hours you have to spend at it. For you to learn any craft, you need to exchange time for the knowledge. For those who went to school, for you to go to school, you need to give the time you will have spent in playing with your friends, you dedicate it to go to school. Those who did a lot better are those that even after they left school, spend time studying. What you spend time on is what you become. So if you want to be an innovator, if you want your children to be innovators, you need to teach them how to spend time. If you don't spend time reading, you are only as good as what you know. Innovation comes when you have a base knowledge and you are adding value to that body of knowledge. That's what innovation is, adding value to a body of knowledge. It can lead to invention or it can lead to improvement. But bottom line is that you must have a base knowledge. If you don't spend time on that base knowledge, it is useless. A lot of people have the same base ideas that you have. The difference between innovators and those who actually just have the idea and nothing is that the innovator spends time on that idea. Can you teach your children by the way you live that time is extremely important and they should pay attention? The second thing is knowledge. Like I said, you exchange time for knowledge. A lot of people have great ideas in terms of how they want things to work, but the knowledge to make it happen is missing, and they're not willing to dedicate the time for that. A lot of us who are parents now live a life of regret because what we should have spent time to do, we did not spend time on those things. We spent time on something else. Now we wish we had spent time doing those things. Don't let your children grow up to be regretful or to live the life of regret. Knowledge is very important. Dedicate time to knowledge. How many books do you read? I saw recently on a small documentary of a guy who was saying that he used to read not documentary, small view like that he used to read his Bible on his phone, and his children would not know what he was doing, but he made time to deliberately start reading his Bible, hard copy Bible. He just made up his mind to do so. And he had a place where he would be in the morning to read his Bible. His children get ready, go to school. They will see him every day reading his Bible at the hard copy. One day, one of his children came to him to say, Daddy, this thing you are doing, what is it? Because the child at that time was in the soaking mood. Came around and said, oh, this is what it is. He was surprised when his son went to pick his own Bible to join him to read. Now, that man could have been screaming that, oh, you must read, you must do. But if he was modeling it without even making noise, and his son got to a point where he started soaking it up. The same thing, knowledge is something you seek. It's not just something that drops on you. Do you read? Do you deliberately make time out to know what is going on around you? Don't just say, I would like to. Make a plan and seek knowledge. But don't forget, time is a currency. So, and time is limited, 24 hours for everybody. You must exchange time deliberately because time is the most expensive currency in the world. The third thing is grit. Grit means your ability to stay focused and stay put even when things are not going the way they should go. Parents today have become so finicky, have become so unreliable and not dependable in the ways we do things. Any issues, we flare up, we give up, we want to divorce. Your wife gets you angry before you say, no, I have alternatives. Grit is not about having alternatives. For those who have done great stuff, they've had the alternative of giving up. Giving up is always an alternative. But they chose to say, you know what, I will see this to the end. And it's only those who see it to the end that would get praised or that would get to be successful. A lot of people today that we are all praising, if they tell you the story they went through, if they tell you what they went through in the dark, if they tell you what they went through in the closet until their story became what you see. But we all just praise the light. I mean, we all just praise them when we see them in the light shining. But you don't know what they went through in the darkness. You teach your children in the little things about grit, about denying themselves things that they can have but do not need to spend. Example, you do not necessarily need to give your children everything they ask for, not because you cannot afford it, but the reality is that when you create entitlement, you are creating monsters. Because in life, there would always be time, even with all the things in the world, you cannot have everything you want. So if you've not created grit, the ability to stay with things, even when it doesn't seem to be working, you will create people who are quitters. And quitters are never innovators. Innovators are the ones that will say, this is the idea I have. I will give it time. I will get the knowledge required and I will stay with it. To raise innovative children, you as parents must show grit at home. Things are not working well. Let them see you staying through. You may think they don't understand, but believe me, they understand more than you think. In fact, sometimes they would even talk down on what you are doing, but when it works out, they imbibe those things and say, wow, I remember when my father went through this. This is what he did. And they have the strength to stand up to do it. But if every time as a parent you quit or you make statements of quitting, another thing, you may not quit, but you make statements like you're going to quit all the time, they get used to it and they act it out. If you notice more often than not, I'm talking about you and not your child. I know a lot of people want me to talk about the children, but the reality is that the child is the father of the man. It's not the other way around. The child is the father of the man. The child in you is the father of the man you became today. So if you sow the right seed in that child today, it will be the right father tomorrow. So you are solving two problems by doing the right thing today. You are giving your children the right abilities to live in the world of tomorrow. But more importantly, you are sowing the seed for your grandchildren. Because if their fathers and their mothers turn right, they would carry on the legacy to their grandchildren. So you are killing two birds in quote with one stone. Model the life. In fact, you are killing three birds actually with one stone. In your own life, you are living the life. You are building your child or children. But more importantly, you are leaving a legacy for your children's children. That makes you a good man. My time is limited. The other things that we need to have to raise innovative children is self-worth. This is sorely missing in this world today. Self-worth. We see a lot of girls today that are being mistreated by boys because parents have not shown them that they are worthy. Most girls are suffering from body dysmorphia or whatever, dysphoria. Is that what it's called? Most girls are suffering from body negativity, for want of a better word. You see those who are on the big side who want to be skinny. You see those who are skinny who think that they must be big before anybody appreciates them. Parents, can we show our children self-worth? It is not based on how much you have. You see a lot of young men now that are pulling girls away, girls who are super smart, who should be devoting their energy and time to creating greatness. They are busy seeking worth, self-worth they are busy seeking validation from people outside, and in the process, destinies are destroyed. Fathers, I plead with you, especially for the boy child and the girl child, deliberately show them self-worth. And it comes also from you. Mothers, are you always talking yourself down? Are you always talking your children down? Please. Having a bad, having a bad behavior is different from being that bad behavior. It is in your place to seek out to validate who they are as human beings so that they can be better people and grow to be what they need to be. Now, I've been talking about presence for a while. I think I'll define what I mean by presence. Presence means two things: being physically available and being totally available. What do I mean by that? Physical availability means that even when you're working, create time for them. Even if it is only, some people are so busy, but do you know what? It's not the quantity per se. Quantity is good, but it's not the quantity, it's the quality. If your children know that my father is very busy, but at home, 7 p.m. on Sunday, we will all gather together and we'll talk. Believe me, those children would always look forward to that time, and they would live the entire week just to have that 1 hour with you or 2 hours with you. So I'm not saying you must stay every day with them because you are busy. You need to make money. I'm not saying that, but you cannot be haphazard in the way you spend time. Time is precious. So your children must know that this time is precious with my dad. So they look forward to it. If you spend 1 hour with them, they cherish it. So be present, both in what you say, what you do, and your physical presence. That's what I mean by presence. You must be there. What stories are you telling? Some of us grew up with fathers telling us stories, moonlight stories. Till today, at over half a century, whatever, we still remember those stories, those days with fondness. It's the same thing. What memories are you creating for your children? You need to spend those times. It can be once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. Some people will say, my family, we must eat dinner together. That is fantastic. Because in those times, you will talk stories. You would share ideas. But when the whole week goes, you don't even know what they are doing. They don't know what you are doing. They are soaking from somebody else. They cannot be innovative with what they should be getting. My time is up, but I would just like to drop the following. In addition to all the things I've said, model people skills for your children. Model emotional intelligence for your children. Model finance management for your children. And possibly model how to spot opportunities, because that's another thing. You may be able to do great stuff, but the bottom line is it must be what the society needs. Teach your children deliberately how to spot opportunities. They may not be able to do anything about those opportunities now, but it is a mindset that spots opportunity that eventually finds a solution to those opportunities available. My time is far spent, and I've been told my time is up. Thank you for listening. I'm grateful for your time. Mr. Moderator.
Good. Thank you so much, sir. We are very grateful, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We have learned a lot today. We are grateful, sir. So you can take a water break, sir, while we call on ask for Q&A. I don't know if there's any question.
All right, everybody. It's been an awesome session with Mr. Folorisha Aliyu. I like the way he speaks with, calmness and so many very, very, very big basketballs in the session. And when he started,
Yes,
he said you can speak until your face is blue. If you are not modeling the thing, nobody is listening to you. Nobody is
my
listening
God.
to you. It's not working. And then he made a very interesting point when he said, when it comes to exams and grades, it is the person that has not learned. That is the person that is worried about the grades. The person that has learned it, the person. So that's something for everybody on this call this morning. And if you have been through this conference right from the beginning up until now, you don't need to feel overwhelmed. You don't need to feel bothered. It is the person who has not learned that is worried about the grades. That was so, amazing and high points about modeling. Okay. Then he also said something that struck me. When you raise entitled children, you are raising monsters. If you empower the spirit of entitlement, the sense of entitlement in your kids, you are raising monsters. And we are not raising monsters. We are raising, children that we win the war in their generation. It's been an awesome, very, very awesome session this morning. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your time. I can't see the questions yet. Do we have questions? Um, Please throw in your questions and so that we can take the questions. How? Okay, there is one question here. So we'll just wait for our guest. I hope he comes back in a in a moment. I'm trying to find that question. I saw a question up here. So please, if you have a question, drop your question, and Mr. Florence will be back and he will take your question. All right, he's up here. Welcome, sir. So there's a question for you. The question is, how do we create a sense of self?
Kids.
How do we create kids with self worth? Over to you, sir.
Okay, so it's like a three-step thing from the inside to the outside. The first thing is, do you even think you as a parent have self-worth? And self-worth is not just talking loudly or just pretending. Self-worth comes from who you are. For me, my self-worth comes from knowing that I have a God who created me specifically to be his own. So my worth is derived from him, not by what I know or don't know. That's why things can go up and down around you. Your worth must be anchored in something greater than you. My worth is anchored in the fact that I know that I'm not here by mistake. I may not, I may even fail here, fail there, but there's an anchor I have that I was not here, I was not made by mistake, and I have someone who cares enough about me to entrust his life to me. That's how I get my self-worth. Now, things that go on around me do not really define who I am. Even when I feel like I'm picking myself up, knowing that there's something greater over and above me, and I work with it. That's one. When you know that for certain, then you are able to also teach your children that, hey, your worth is not tied to the A's
To
or B's or
anybody.
C's you get. Your worth is not tied to how beautiful or how ugly the world says you are. Your worth is not tied to your body shape. Your worth is not tied to the lipsticks or the money in your pocket. Your worth is tied to much greater things than you as a person. And finally, speak the word of affirmation. So one, you must be confident in yourself. Two, you must demonstrate it. But lastly, you must speak the word. And when they have issues, you must be there to hold them. That is how you demonstrate, or that's how you model those. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much. And there's another question on the screen. This person says, how can I motivate a child who won't want to do anything? How do you motivate a child that doesn't want to do anything? Over to you, sir.
Thank you. You don't need to motivate such children. What you need to do is you model it. Just keep these children. You see, we have children that have different. We are in a hurry to see things. These children are living lives that, by what I call the teachable moments. See, the children today that are adults and are doing great, ask some of them. They were so troublesome when they were young that people gave up on them. Some of them were, in quote, termed useless when they were growing up. But today, maybe one teachable moment happened to them and they changed. We want to create, we want to see immediate result. No, keep praying for such children. Number two, consistently model. That child will come one day of his or her own to you and say, Daddy, you know this thing you have been doing. Unfortunately, we don't have time. I've given an example of my own child. When he came to me, something I've been worried about and whatever, on his own came to me to say some things to me. I was like, wow, unbelievable. They are watching you. Don't be in a hurry. Keep doing the right thing. Keep praying for them. The day they change and come to you, it will shock you.
Awesome.
We're in a hurry. We are all in a hurry to see our children, on the honors roll so that they are praising you all the time. That is not what parenting is about. Parenting is first about you. So that for me is the key. It's not the clapping. It's not the praise. You have great children. No. That is for our ego. The reality is that
Yeah.
these children are not yours. They are on loan from God to you. He's doing his work in them, but you live the life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
So Coach Wendy is on the stream. So Coach, I don't know, you have something to say to this session?
Thank you so much, FLX. So, Mr. Folorosha Aliyu was someone that I lived in the same community with. We live in the same estate at some point. So, it has. I wish we had even more time to hear FLX share a lot of nuggets, but there was just too much to take away from this session. I want to say thank you again, FLX. It is an honor again to have you at the TIP annual conference. Thank you so much for all that you do at the TIP Academy. We love you and we honor you. Thank you for sharing with us this morning, Sam.
Thank you. Thank you very much, man. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, so the other question that somebody was asking about the movie that you mentioned earlier. I think that is Social Dilemma. If you're
Yes.
looking for that documentary, the name of the documentary is Social Dilemma. You can find it on Netflix, and it's an awesome documentary to see. Thank you. There's been a lot of takeaways from this session for me, but we're going to call it wraps. Our next session is by 11:30, and don't forget, sign up for the TIP inner. Those in the inner circle are not getting as agitated as some other persons on this call, but I'm going to
Yes.
allow FLS to give us his final thoughts before we. Oh, he's already out of the stream. I hope. I think he's still
Yeah.
around. I'm
Okay.
just going to let him. Yes, sir. Please give us your final words before we let you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I just want to say, and I hope I'm not offending anyone, but if I do, I have no apologies. Forgive me. You are first a child. You are first a child of God, and you need to also be responsible to your own father before you can parent a child. You need to be responsible to your own father. And I think that will make a lot of difference when you know you are accountable. A lot of us are not accountable to anyone, and that's why we live anyhow. Be accountable to your own father so that your children would find it easy to submit to you, your spouse find it easy to submit to you, and you will have a home where kids are willing to grow up to be, innovative and to be great. Thank you. Last thing, shout out to one of my friends. I just found out yesterday, Yome, Yome. Shout out to you. Thank you for pointing me to TIP as well. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you,
Awesome.
sir. Thank you so much, sir.
All righty. So, who are you going to point to TIP? Rebecca, I'll hand over to you before we just close this session. Our next session is by 11:30, everybody. So we'll just take time to go grab some water, take a break and come back by 11:30. Over to you, Rebecca.
All right. The Intentional Parenting Academy is an annual subscription that is, transforming the lives of 3,000 parents. Are you in the ark? If you are not in the ark, please join the ark. Join it today and right away. Just book a slot with 5,000 naira and you have secured your place in the academy. Please, I am begging you to join and you will get value for your money. Thank you very much. Please go in the comment section and write how you feel about this session. Okay.